you know, we're excited. I think they've gained a lot of momentum, and they had some rough luck, and now it looks like they are really poised to move on. So we just got to keep going. This is a tough business. These cars are so close, and anything can happen. A pit stop, and you're in a big jam. So, but I know it means a lot to him to win this track, to him and his family, and so this was a great day.
I would just add, I mean, I just saw a look in his eye today, all day. When we saw him this morning, you could just hear in his voice over the radio. He's very just focused and determined, and you know, you get there from already having a couple wins under your belt. The team starting to gel, leading the points, coming to your home track. You know, sponsors like Napa, the hometown for them, Hooters, and so you know, this was I think just a lot of motivation behind it and confidence coming into it. And now I think the confidence is only going to build more in the team. So that's a great combination to have at this point in the season.
Okay, if you have questions for Mr. Hendrick or Jeff, raise your hand, we'll get you a mic. We'll start at the end here and then go to Mark.
Tom Joseph here from Daily News for Rick and Jeff. 25 years ago, Jeff won his second Winston Cup here at this track, and here we are today. Chase already has a NASCAR Cup and gets his first win at home. Just talk about how Hendrick is still one of the most, if not the most dominant team in NASCAR today.
You know, it's all about the people. And if you go back and look at Victory Lane, this guy picked me up, so I thought it was pretty impressive that he could do that. You know, it's all about the people. And, you know, we've got the young people. We have people who've been there a long time, guys like Jeff that won championships and helped build an organization. And I think we just keep that competitive spirit, and you know, we want to be there every year. We know we can't win all the races, you can't win all the championships, but if you keep the core together, I think you're going to at least be there every year to participate. And I'm really proud of our guys. This is the best all four cars have ever, crew chiefs have ever worked together. So it's I think it's going to be a great year for us. I hope we can keep the momentum going in the chase.
Yeah, I just think it starts with the foundation, and I think of the first day that I came to Hendrick Motorsports and the foundation that Rick had already built there. I mean, they had great, you know, people and engineering and race cars and drivers, and you know, it was just all about putting it all together at the right time, like we did in '95. And it just seems like since 1995. That, you know, this organization's just been on an incredible roll of realizing what they're capable of and just building on that. And so, you know, the foundation is still incredibly strong. It's a little bit deeper now too because of all the years of success. But I think Rick nailed it. We've got, I think, the best group of drivers, crew chiefs, engineering, staff, just depth throughout the organization. You know, it's the best that I've ever seen, and the communication on top of that. So the way they're sharing information, and you know, listen, we came into this year with so many unknowns, coming off of a dominant year with building our own cars and you know, understanding what it took to have that kind of success. And we just had no idea what that was, you know, what those ingredients were going to be with this type of a car. And the nice thing is, it's still all about the people and the foundation.
Mark Garrow, PRN, sort of following up on that, guys. Just want to know what the number 287 means. That's how many career wins now for Team Hendrick?
That means I'm an old man. It's, you know, we put all the wins on the wall, and you know, we've been doing this a long time. And I remember when he was like 20, and now he's 51.
That's mine.
Yeah, and but you know, I think it's just the pride, and you know, I never thought we'd get to 150, and then I didn't think we'd be able to catch Richard's record. And now it looks like we might be able to get to 300 here one of these days. So, but it's a heck of a feat to get wins like that in this series.
Any other questions for Mr. Racer? Let's go to Nate. I'm sorry, Christian. Yeah, go to Nate over here, then we'll go to Christian, and then Matt.
Nate Ryan, DC Sports. I got a couple. First would be for either of you. Chase's performance today. It seemed like maybe he had the best car, but it seemed like he was making the best moves, particularly in the last 3 laps. Just how you would evaluate him as a super speedway race.
Well, again, I go back to just the focus that I saw in him before the race and just listening to him on the radio. Got to give a lot of credit to Eddie DeHunt, his spotter too, giving him a lot of great information. Those two guys just really in sync. Great calls also, in the pits to try to get the best tires, manage the fuel mileage as well as track position, which was obviously very important. But I think it was pretty obvious early on, when he could get up into those first couple rows, he had a car that if he made the right decisions and moves, he could get to the lead and kind of control the race. So clearly he had a lot of confidence in his car and his abilities today. But it's always a team effort. I know we say that all the time, but even in Victory Lane, I looked at him and said some things to him that you don't always say, and it's just because he to me gave me that feeling, all of us on the team, that feeling, even on the box when it was all over, Alan Gustafson was immediately just going, how about that guy today? How about that guy today? So they clearly give a lot of credit to the job that Chase did today. He's an amazing super speedway racer, but I think here what I like about this track is that you've got a little bit of combination of super speedway and handling, and so I think it almost even plays a little bit better into somebody like Chase Elliott's hands and the way he likes this. But he's clearly good at Talladega and Daytona as well.
He's a smart driver, really smart. He knows when to make the move. He doesn't, sometimes you're thinking, hey, I think it's time to go, and he'll sit there, and then when he sees it, it's the right time, he makes it. Very seldom does he make a mistake.
And didn't panic when he did lose the lead there. Those were intense restarts. I know how we were feeling up on the box. I can only imagine what it's like inside the car, but he stayed so calm during those situations to get himself back to the lead.
And then, Rick, I think after Williams' win here in March, you said you could probably 6 is the limit in terms of how many super speedway style races. So this might be a question for Jeff too, since I know you deal with the Bills now too. You get the win from Chase, but you lose the 24 and the 48 and the 5s involved in the crash. I guess, how do you look at it like that?
It's always bittersweet when you have cars that are all running really well and you come away with one, but only one can win, and they'll have their turn. When you look up and you see one of your cars backwards in a wreck, destroyed, you feel for those guys, because William had a fast car, and he just has had the rightest luck in Alex both, and so it's actually Kyle too. But if we come with speed, we're going to win a few. It is really tough when you see cars go out of the race, but winning is what we're here for. So we celebrate with Chase, and we know the guys at speed, and we'll go to the next race.
Christian, Matt, Dustin.
Christian Coley, KickingTheTires.net. This is kind of a question for both of you, kind of branching off that one. Kind of speaking on the success of all 4 teams this year. How has Chase Elliott's last few wins kind of reignited the fire that kind of got burnt out there for a little bit after Byron's kind of fell off, and just everything? How is the organization as a whole going to just team up and work towards making one goal of the championship?
Well, the crew chiefs are working together better than I've ever seen them before, and the drivers sharing information in the meetings, going to doing a race in the rain out, they go together and come up with a plan, and they're going to race all the way to the end that way. They did last year with Chase and Kyle, and one of them, when you can take 2 to the final 4, then you've had a really good year, and one of them has got a good shot to win. So our job is just to give them the best equipment, and they know that when you get into Chase, don't quit doing what's gotten you here. That's sharing, working together, and as long as we do that, I think we'll have a great opportunity to end up in Phoenix.
Matt?
Matt Weaver, Racing America. I know you guys are focused on the win in this moment, but I wanted to ask you guys both about Corey too, because I think Corey reached out during his free agency about a potential ride. What do you guys think of him as a racer? Even kind of gracious to speak today. He had nothing bad to say about Chase and said, wins are so important, and we all had to go for it. So what do you guys think about Corey the racer?
I mean, I like Corey's attitude, and I like his drive, and he's got a lot of passion, and he showed that today. It's unfortunate, with the way it ended up for him, but I thought, he and the team in the car showed a lot today, and you want a guy like that who has the pedigree that he has the passion that he has, and the work ethic to get the opportunity that he's searching for. But I think today will certainly go a long way, and we've got a great relationship with Spire, and so it's a lot of fun watching them racing hard, but also working together there at the end. I kind of wish it could have been a 1-2 instead of the way it ended up. But he's a guy that's been around the sport a long time and knows the ebbs and the flows. And I think his performance today is going to do more for him than maybe what the result will show.
We're here to Dustin, and then over here.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Let me just ask Rick just about that, just following up on what Matt's question was. Look, Rick, you've talked about it's about people in the sport, relationships. Obviously, you've had a relationship with Corey's dad and maybe a little bit with Corey, but again, I know the bottom line is it's about winning for your organization, but to see Corey up there, what was it like for you to see that from a personal standpoint?
I was proud, I was excited, and if we couldn't win, I really wanted him to win. We do the motors for him, we share a lot of things with them, and he's a great guy, and I think a whole lot of Dickerson and those guys, and that was a Cinderella story, and I would have loved this if we couldn't win. I wanted him to win because he drove a heck of a race and did a heck of a job. He looked as good as anybody in this field out there today.
And Jeff, look, this season's all been about unpredictability and ups and downs. We're as strong as your organization is. The 9 team seems to have had maybe more consistency than just about any other team out there this year. What is it that you see, or what are some of the things that they're doing well or going well for them that they're kind of not having this up and down that even some of the top teams have from week to week with this new car and limited practice and everything else?
Yeah, as you guys are saying that, it makes me think back to earlier in the year when they were very consistent, but not getting the wins, and everybody's putting the focus on the guys, like Byron and others that were getting the wins, and it was, well, where are the wins for the 9 team, and now all of a sudden the wins are coming, but the consistency's kind of been there, from the beginning for them, and now I think they're on, more of a roll as far as figuring out how to get their car in position at the end of these races to get the wins, and everything's got to come together, the pit stops, everything, so you're constantly working on that. But you got to think of Alan, the years that he and Chase have been together, the team in general, just not a lot of turnover within that team, so that they're a very solid group. They showed it 2 years ago when they won the championship, showed it again last year going all the way to the Final Four, battling for the championship, in position really. They think that race could have gone any which way at Phoenix in the closing laps. I think they're just following up the consistency that they just have as a group who works together. I think it's showing up on the racetrack.
Go here.
Hi, Joe Adgie, Noonan Times Herald, and this question is for Jeff. You won a number of times at your home track. This is the first time that Chase has won a Cup race at his home track. I was wondering if you could talk about the psychological advantage behind winning at your home track compared to other tracks.
Well, I mean, he has a great fan following everywhere he goes, but here, there's no doubt it's something special to him, and he's a hometown kind of guy. I mean, you say my home track, that was my adopted track, right? Which, if you're talking about Indianapolis, and everybody tells me, well, you have multiple home tracks. Which one was it? He's got one, and it's here in Georgia. He's a Georgia guy through and through, from the sports teams to living here, his family legacy. And so I know this one meant a lot because he's been close a couple other times, and I've seen the hurt when it didn't come through of what it meant to him to not get it done. So I know today you could just see the way he interacted with the fans because he knew how much this one meant to him as well as to his fans.